Level low. Welcome to Arizona Barrio Stories Latino USA TV. I'm the Manic Hispanic from Mega 104.3 from Cruising with the Manic Hispanic Show. You know, you could always catch that show on Mega every Sunday starting at 3 p.m. And then in Tucson, you can listen to 106.3 The Groove, and you can hear my show on there from Sunday through Thursday. And they love to cruise at Tucson. And again, I want to thank everybody out in Tucson for listening to the show. It's awesome. But we're here to have a good time and talk about low riding. Low riding is the topic today, and we have two very special guests with us. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Rick Dominguez, Legendary Bombs.
I'm Joe Montenegro, also with Legendary Bombs.
So we're going to get into the whole meat of low riding with you two guys, because, you know, you guys, people probably don't know this, but you've been around low riding for a very long time, right? How many years?
Yeah. I don't know, since I was, 14, 15 years old. Been in the lowrider game. We've seen, so a lot of years. But, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And Joe?
Since way back, covered wagons.
You were low riding.
I was 14 when I got my first bomb.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
Do I have to tell you how long ago that was?
No, you don't have to say. They're doing the math right now. But so the cool thing is I always get very excited and ask the question, what gravitated you to the whole low riding scene? You guys got into it at a very young age. I didn't get my first low rider until I was about 17. I bought 67 Super Sport Impala.
Wow.
Yeah. And I wanted a Monte Carlo, but my dad was like, nope, you're going to get the cheaper one because it was cheaper. So I ended up getting that, but I loved it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Got you in the scene, though. Yeah. For me, it was bikes. I started with my bikes, and old man bought us an old Volkswagen, and we tinkered with that, me and my brothers. And before you know it, man, we're into the cars, Impalas, and just took off. But it started with Volkswagens for us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, believe it or not.
And then you said you were 14.
Yeah.
So
my oldest brother gave me a car.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So did you grow up out here in the valley?
I grew up in Pico Rivera, Los Angeles.
All right. Was there a lot of people around you that were low riding also at that time?
Yeah, and I had four older brothers, and most of them were involved in cars, particularly low riders. But I think that attracted me. That's when my love first started for those cars, and it continued on ever since then. It started at a young age with my brothers.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. So you guys got into it. You guys are young cats. You're working with your brothers. Yeah. Everybody's, helping out. Maybe, are they giving you advice? Hey, put this on your car. Do this with your car.
A lot of mistakes, man. Learn, trial and error, mistakes. But that was the fun about it. You know what I mean? Learning, growing together, doing what we love, man. And now it's just, now, of course, it's more perfected now, and doing paint jobs and whatever else we do to the to our bombitas. But that's part of it. It's part of the culture and learning and growing and becoming who we are, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let me a little bit more about myself and what I'm doing other than just doing my radio show, the cruising show. So on 2025 I got asked to MC and work the stage on the Lowrider tour. So I've been out there to all the different cities and seen different, cars and clubs as they come and go. But I didn't realize how much went into these cars, because I've met guys that are painters, pinstripers.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some serious stuff going on. So how did you guys, when you had a vision of this is what I want my car, my bomb to look like, how did you go to and find that person that you're like, this is who I trust, that's going to do what I'm asking them to do? Or was that kind of a error, you're like, okay, I learned my lesson here, I'm going to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you. You want to take that question?
It's a combination of things, A lot of times the convenience of building your car is at your fingertips. True. My Uncle Bob paints, and, George over here does the upholstery, and I can fix the engine, and everybody kind of builds it on a budget, so to speak.
Right.
And you do have people, obviously, that are professionals, wealthy professionals,
Right.
all levels, all ages. And it definitely is a chore finding the guy, you know,
Right.
whether it's paint, upholstery, and typically our choices are made by reputation, what we can see, and, you know, so many great guys are already established in the build world. I mean, and it's gone over to, you have guys building custom fiberglass panels now, having successful businesses doing that.
Yeah.
Let alone stereos and paint jobs, upholstery, engines, you know, welders. I mean, this is employed so many people,
Right.
to build the cars are involved, and.
Yep.
You know, it takes a lot of collaboration and teamwork to get it together. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
You know, it's funny when you said that. The first thing that came to my mind was, you know, man, I can remember when I was a kid, my budget was right here,
Yeah.
but I wanted this. Bro.
Yeah.
I wanted this, you know. But it's funny, but yeah, you know, you're like, man, how am I going to do that? How am I going to achieve that? So of course, you know, sometimes it took hurry up and wait because, you know, I got to get the money right to get it, but. Like Joe was saying, you know, sometimes if you want what you want, you got to wait sometimes. But sometimes it's trial and error, like we talked about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just, you know what, I'm going to go for it.
Right.
And do it myself and see what happens. Sometimes it came out good. You're like, wow, that came out good. And that's how you learn, you know?
Yeah.
And you just keep growing from there and become, you know, you start making your own marks.
Right.
You know?
Well, that's awesome. So we talked about getting the car, getting it built, getting everything done. Now let's talk about when you hit the streets. When you guys hit the streets, you guys were cruising. So you were from Pico. So were you on Whittier?
Whittier Boulevard, Ventura Boulevard.
Nice.
Both ends of Whittier Boulevard. I lived in Whittier, so we would go up and antagonize the hot rodders on the east end of the Whittier Boulevard, or west end of that would be the east end of Whittier Boulevard.
Right.
But down at the west end where the lowriders all cruised in East LA, that was pretty incredible. I've never seen anything quite like it to this day.
Right.
It
Wow,
just was.
man.
It was pretty special.
Yeah. And that was the whole, like, after you put all that work into that car, to your bomb or your first car that you got,
Yeah.
you know, you wanted to show it. You wanted everybody to
For
see
sure,
it.
yeah.
So, you know, you started getting compliments. I'm sure people were like, dude, that's a nice ride.
That's the drive, bro.
Yeah.
That's the drive when people see you. You know what I mean? You first go out there, you're like, man, you know, you're out there and you're, of course, you know, it's your primer at first. And then
Yeah.
next thing you know, you're doing a little bit of body work. Now it's painted. And all of a sudden, now it's like, man, that's beautiful. Like, yeah, that's my ride. And you get out there and you're cruising. And that's just kind of keeps, I don't know for you, Joe, but for me, it was like, it's just like feeding. It just feeds you. It just
Yeah.
keeps you going, keeps you motivated, keeps you moving in your drive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know it's something else when you're out there talking to the people and you know, they're just like, wow, dude, you did that or you built that. You know, yeah, that's my car. You know what I mean? And
Right.
now you're at, like, you can remember when you first started, but man, where you're at now, it's like night and day. But still, you know, it keeps you going.
Right.
It keeps you going.
Well, that's awesome. I can imagine. I know in the late 70s, early 80s, when I was hitting South Central Boulevard with my 67, you know, but I didn't get as deep as you guys did. I just, how I bought it, that's how we rolled, you know.
Right.
But let me ask you this: you guys both were in car clubs. Did you get into car clubs right away, or did it take a while?
I did right out of high school. I was 17 and I got into Spirit LA.
Oh, okay.
So that was my first experience.
Okay, so let me ask you this: so you got into the car club. What was the whole, you know, reason? Like, what was it that you were like, man, I'm drawn to do this, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, what got you to say I want to be in the car club?
You know, there was a lot of camaraderie. Of course, it's an attraction with all the cars, you know, all the beautiful cars, and it's the organization with doing things, going to shows together and picnics and all those events, and it's so family oriented now, so much better. Back then, it was pretty much just the guys, you know.
Yeah.
The guys were the car. The guys were, you know, some guys would have their girlfriends or wives with them, but it wasn't quite as family oriented as it is now.
Right.
Which is a beautiful thing. I love it.
Yeah, no doubt. And for you, what was your?
You know, for me, I never pursued being in a car club until way later. I was actually more of a solo rider for a lot in my life, a lot of my years. But later on, of course, then started getting into the scene more again, and into the club scene and stuff. But I've only belonged to 2 car clubs in my life, you know what I mean? And I thought it's always been something that I didn't want to just be all over the place. I take it really serious.
Yeah.
And so now it's like Joe's saying, now it's like the whole family vibe is what it's all about.
Yeah, that's what gets me excited too, especially now that I've been on this tour with Lowrider. I see, because I'm there when move in. I'm there for move in, and I see the families, you know, the whole families, the person that owns the car bringing their brothers, bringing their uncles, bringing everybody out, and it's amazing to me how their partner is right there with them. You know,
you know, Manic. Back in the day, it was an issue. It's like your wife can't drive your car with your plaque up.
Oh wow!
She can't fly colors. You can't. I don't care if she's just got out of the shower. She can't put your club shirt on.
No way.
It was. Well, yeah. It was absolutely. Children, forget it.
Oh wow!
No. And it was very, very strict for many years. I don't ever remember one club back in those days allowing any of those things.
There's still a few out there like that.
Yeah.
We won't say no names, but there's still a few that are very, very strict on who can wear shirts and who cannot. And that's part of why, you know, we actually started on Bombita clubs now. You know, Legendary Bombs is one of them. Because we're able to make our own rules up and say, hey, you know what? That's my road dog. That's my wife. She's going to be with me. You know? The kids too. And I know Joe's with his wife, you know, and other members. We're all about the wives being involved with us.
And of course, the wives have their own cars now too.
I'm seeing that too now.
So it's great. You know?
I'm seeing a lot of that too now. Now I'm just really happy that with Lowrider magazine, you know, we do the Hall of Fame right before the Vegas show in October. It's the day before that show. And I'm so happy that they added that category, women of lowriding, the category of that. I think that's awesome.
They deserve it. You know, they've earned it. For sure.
They're right there with us, man, and they deserve it 100%.
Yeah, 100%. That is awesome.
Yeah.
So we got you guys in the car club. You guys were cruising. You're hanging out. It's a family thing. Everybody's, you know, having a good time. Now, for the longest time, when I was in high school and I had bought my 67, I got pulled over a lot. You know, trying to get from my house to my girlfriend's house at the time. I mean, I got pulled over a lot. And I was like, man, and my dad was like, get rid of your car. Just get rid of the car. It's just causing. But that really bothered me a lot because it was like the stigma that we were this bad people.
Right.
Did you guys run into a lot of that?
Yeah. East LA was a lot of fun. The cops would they pretty much had their way with you.
Yeah.
You know, it was pretty rude a lot of times.
Wow.
That was back at that time. There were 2 issues you had to look out for, really. One was the cops, and the other one is, hey, keep my car running.
Right.
You know, because a lot of that is just trial and error. You learn as you go. You're young. You don't really know. Why isn't it starting? Why, you know? So you got to figure things out. So, you know, you go through those growing pains with a built car for sure, you know?
Right.
It's just, you want to make sure you get home and safe.
Exactly.
But yeah, the police were very, very difficult back then.
So would you say that was kind of the big reasons, and I get it, if it was some of the drive in your guys' car club to say, hey, let's do these community events, let's do these toy drives, let's do these, you know, food drives, you know, collect canned goods, you know, for the holidays, because I'm just so amazed on how car clubs are so embedded in the communities, and they're there when something happens. Car clubs show up
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
100%, man. You know, I can say that maybe not the pushing force on why we do what we do now, but I think it's more so for our own communities to be there and support our own communities and do what we can for them. You know what I mean? Like I was telling you earlier, I really have never really gotten into the big shows anymore because I'm more focused on family and community. I know at the end of the day we're a lowrider club, and I tell our members, you know, I know we're a club and we're going to do some shows, but let's go help the seniors, man.
Yeah.
Let's go give them a little bit back, you know what I mean, and do what we can do. Yeah. Or somebody will bring a family, hey man, this family needs help.
Right.
Hey, let's go help that family, you know what I mean? And so you're switching gears. So for me, that's really, really truthfully what motivates me, man. I've done so many shows. It's not for me, it's not. I'm not gonna live and die if I don't make it to that big show anymore. It's more so, who did you help along the way, man?
Right,
And
right.
truthfully, that's where my heart is at now.
Right.
I know Joe's more or less the same way now. He's done so
and
much.
there's a lot of clubs that are heavy into that.
Yeah.
Everything from veterans to autistic children to, I mean, it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the toy drives in Phoenix are incredible.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing seeing everybody come together and help each other, to help the community.
sure.
And it's a great thing for everyone, for sure.
And for the most part, and I've got a chance to meet a lot of the members from different car clubs here in the Valley, down in Tucson, because of my show. And I've come to realize that majority of them, if you need help or you need anything, they're there.
100%.
They're there. And
Yeah.
I've never seen groups, other type of groups, activate as quickly as
Right.
the Lowrider group. So
That's
I'm
right.
very proud of that.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And so we touched on the community scene and everything about it. What I do want to ask each one of you, I know you guys said you guys were building your own cars and you guys were trying this and that, but you guys, I'm sure both of you had your own specialty. All right, Joe, we'll go with you first. What was your specialty when it came to lowriding that you would do?
I love the fabrication end, which involved a lot of hydraulics. I got deep into hydraulics, welding and custom fabrication on the car. Sometimes they want a tilt front end or reverse hood or reverse trunk, reverse doors, so that attracted me. I was always good with my hands and never liked sanding, so I had no attraction to paint. And upholstery was a little too clean for me. I like getting dirty.
Yeah.
So I got into frames and sheet metal work and hydraulics, a lot of hydraulics, and of course later on airbags, and I had a lot of fun with that.
So you experimented with a lot of different ways to use the hydraulics, or
I used to go to hydraulic shops, commercial hydraulic shops, because I didn't like a lot of things I would see. And so I'd go to hydraulic shops and I learned to befriend the old timers. Those are the guys that are willing to spend the time with you and explain things to you and help you.
Right.
And I would pick their brains, Why isn't there a better way to hook this up than this stupid thing? And what about this and what about that? And I had friends that were electricians, so I would pick their brains about the electrical end, what's the proper gauge wire we should be running, all those things. I tried to really fashion my craft into a quality thing,
Right.
and just kind of wanted it to be good quality. And eventually I opened up my own shop here in Phoenix and
Right.
had a lot of fun there. Met a lot of great people, built a lot of great stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
had fun,
awesome.
yeah.
Do you ever, like, every once in a while, you'll see a car that you put hydraulics on of somebody else's car, and you're like, I did that.
Not too much anymore.
Yeah.
But there are still a few running around that we did. I did in like 80, 81, 82.
Nice.
So
That's awesome. And so what would be your specialty?
It's my first thing that got me going was just tinkering around, being a mechanic, doing a little mechanic work. And then somebody says to me, hey, man, can you install these hydraulics for me? And next thing you know, I'm installing. I could do it, you know what I mean? And I just went for it. And that kind of got me going into the hydraulic scene. And then, of course, I started doing a little body and paint after that. But truthfully, it was trial and error a lot and just getting into it, just going for it. And not really knowing too much, but at the end of the day, I never really crafted like something like this man, he's a legend around here, but nevertheless, it was body and paint, I guess, for me.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So did you ever kind of sit back and go, man, if I could come up with this different type of color, that will stand out?
Yeah. Well, paint jobs, it's the first thing that catches people's eyes. Like, wow, look at that. You know what I mean? And then, of course, you get into the rest of the car and whatever.
Right.
But yeah, paint jobs, man, is really where I guess attracts a lot of people first. It's like, it's just the paint job. You know what I mean?
Right.
Gets people going, and then the rest of it. You know what I mean? But it attracts you.
And James, Manic, another side of that is with the car clubs, a lot of times you have everything in-house there. You've got a guy that paints.
Yeah.
You've got a guy that, and a lot of these clubs come together. Some of them even have their clubhouses.
That's right.
And where they can help build a car. And
Right.
so that's another part of that whole camaraderie thing
Right,
and teamwork.
for sure.
And
That's awesome.
because most of the time your brothers are more than happy to jump in and help you.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is very cool, and I know there's so much more we could touch on. I mean, there's so many things I wanted to talk about, like some of the things that happened on the cruise, and all those kind of exciting things. But I know we don't have a whole lot of time here.
Right.
But before we go, anything else that you guys want to bring up that's coming up with your car club or anything like that?
Well, it looks like we're gonna be, of course, the rest of the summer down. We got a few little things to help out, community-wise. But other than that, we'll be back in September. Probably start going here at Alac here, start doing some events here.
Nice.
Out front, and we'll be reaching out to a lot of people, a lot of clubs to come out and help support us on those events.
A lot of charities. We do a lot of charities
too.
Okay.
So,
Well, since it's summer and things are a little slowed down, maybe you guys could put some hydraulics in my Nissan Rogue. Is that cool? You think you can do that?
Bring it over. You can do anything with a torch and welder.
That's right.
Can you do a
We'll
mural?
let the air out of your tires, bro.
Well, thanks again for coming out, you guys. This is awesome. Hopefully, we can do some more talking about the whole what's going on in the low riding because there's a lot to touch
For sure.
on. All right.
100%.
Well, thank you
It's
very
a
much.
pleasure, Manic. Always to see
Thank you.
Yeah.
Keep the
And
keep the oldies going, bro.
Yeah, keep
the oldies
cruising.
going,
Keep
right?
cruising with my show.
That's right. Sunday oldies,
sure.
right?
Yep. So thank you everybody for joining us. Arizona Vadio Story, Latino USA TV. It's been great. I was having fun. And you know what? Make sure you keep checking Arizona Vadio Stories for the next episode of our Lowrider Talk. And catch me cruising on Mega 104.3, also on 106.3 The Groove in Tucson. So let's just keep on cruising. Adios.
Level low.